I'm saying phone. That ain't even the words. I'm creating up a new song. It's so not phone. Okay.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Real on Parenting. I am your co-host, Coach Kiana Shaw.
I'm therapist Danielle.
And today we were trying to figure out if we should come in with the song So Functified by
Right.
by the Brat and Notorious B.I.G.
I
Because
think we still
today,
should have, but yes.
right, but I don't know what the rules on
Right, right, right. Because
copyrights and
everybody
all.
wants
Like
their
we
money.
don't
Yes.
need that kind of issue.
Yes. And we
Uh
correct.
but we can listen, we can sing it, we can sing a bar.
We can, that we can. Because I already know the hook was like 3 words, two, 3 words. That's all I know anyway.
What is it? So, so,
So,
so. Okay, we
funkified.
on two different. You know what? Never mind. Never mind. There might be a delay. I don't know.
I'm
So
on the
this
other
is what
key.
inspired this conversation on hygiene. As you guys know, I own a training and development company. Maybe you don't know, but I own a training and development company, and we work with youth, young adults, and blue collar workers, as well as people who have spent time in what I like to refer to as a gated community, otherwise known to the public as jail, right? Or prison.
Actually,
Uh,
yes.
and so we do personal and professional development with them. Well, as I've been working with youth, increasingly, since the pandemic, there has been a hygiene issue in the classes, right? And so what I was explaining was that to the youth is that your hygiene, your lack of hygiene, your lack of good hygiene, can
Yes.
really impede the opportunities before you, because it doesn't matter how great you are. If you funky, we don't want you around, right?
Yes.
And so we were talking, Danielle and I were talking about all the things that are included in hygiene. So we decided to bring it to the real on parenting, because it's also the real on my nose hairs are burning out. Uh, the real on my
Now
eyes
I
are
got to say
watering every
that.
time you walk by.
Ooh, yes.
And we got to get this together. So sometimes I know that sometimes, like I was telling Danielle, I was having this issue. My hair was burned, and it's weave hair, right? So weave hair, when it's burnt, has a different smell. And so I was like, Kayla got in the car and was like, roll this window down. And so I was like, oh man, like is it that intrusive? And
Mm-hmm.
I had been smelling, I thought it was a dog. I was like, it's pee or something, but it was my hair. And so I had to like go ahead and shampoo it and get it together, because I was like, we can't do that. I can't just be out here, not smelling good. But I didn't realize that it was that bad until she got in the car. She was like, no, it's kind of bad. But I've been in the car for an hour enclosed, right? And so yeah,
Yeah.
if like that, I can see that being an issue. If there's, even if it's a little funk, like it can grow
Yeah.
into a big thing.
Funk is funk. It don't matter
Funk
how
is
big,
funk.
but I mean, it does matter, but still, it's there. It's present. Okay.
So we're gonna help you guys. So gather your children around, or an
Yes.
adult that is,
Yes.
funking up the
I mean,
place.
hygiene is hygiene for everyone. However,
Exactly.
yeah, but there are some people who just don't know. There's some parents, there's some adults who are just not aware. So
Absolutely.
we can all learn, okay? We can all learn today.
All right, so let's go. So I know that you had a certain section you want to start off with. Like, what we doing?
Girl, all of them. Anybody that know me that I do not play when it comes to hygiene, you're gonna see
At
a different
all.
version of therapist Danielle, because I don't do smells unless they smell good. I don't do
And
them.
even then, some
There.
good smells will still trigger her migraine, so it
And
don't
they
matter.
will.
She
They'll
don't do
trigger.
smell.
But I would say let's start with the basics in regards to just daily hygiene. Um, I want to say the obvious, but the obvious is that in the morning, if you didn't bathe that night, unless what is bathing, so, and I will say this as well. Let's take into account that some people may not have access
Very
to
true.
certain products,
Mhm.
or if they do have access, it may not be of good quality. You know what I mean?
Right. And
But
all products don't work for all bodies, right?
there
Because the
you,
things that have
yes,
been
yes,
working, for years and
yes,
years and years may not necessarily work with the next person. And so we got
right,
to be mindful of the judgment, because
right.
secret don't work for everybody.
It
Some
showed up.
folks need, a strong something else, right? Some folks are
Yes,
too sensitive for it, so they got to use like a baking soda paste. And so all of those things.
right,
So we just want to bring the options.
Right, right. And with that, though, it doesn't mean you don't do it. You know, you work with what you have. But if you have the means to find and purchase the products that works for your child's skin and body chemistry,
Right.
please purchase that because you're kind of creating a problem that can be turned into a bigger problem. And even for
Absolutely.
yourself, you know, all these trends on social media and you want to get this and want to get that or get a version of it. It don't. You shouldn't be smelling like watermelon underneath your arm because watermelon with sweat does not smell good. So, with that being said, especially on an 11-year-old, no, ma'am. But in the morning, you know, we're brushing our teeth. Um, if you, and I'm saying this, I'm saying respectfully because I'm not trying to go in on anyone, but like if as a parent, if you are not modeling this for your children, and just how do you expect them to know how to do it properly? Granted, you may tell them, brush your teeth, wash your face, you know what to do, you know, but if you have not actually
You have to
taught them,
instruct them
you're washing the whole face. Is you're making bubbles all over the face. You're rinsing off all the bubbles. There should be no
into the
white
hairline.
residue. Girl, yes, you shouldn't be. And then trying to put gel on. It shouldn't be no border of your perimeter of any type of soap.
Right.
And then
Exactly.
you know, and then there's you moisturize. But if you have it, I mean, within living with each other, they should have seen you do this, but also it should have been a time when you explained and showed. And especially
Right.
when you get to the girls and the boys, when puberty hit for our men, even we all got face, we all got skin. So I would say do this. Wash your face with your child. They're probably gonna look at you crazy, but wash your face with your child because there are certain steps. Because I've worked with some kids where they just wet their rag and they wipe their face. So basically, you just wet
Because
the
they
dirt.
don't know. They
You
don't
wet
know.
right. You're right. You just wet the dirt. And it's because they didn't know. And then there's also aspects where you showed your child and they just trying to get done.
Right.
They know
There is
better.
that part too. And so taking pride, teaching them to take pride in it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
hey, did you get, these corners right here? I hate
girl.
seeing
Yes,
all
the
that
eye
white
boogers.
soap
Yeah,
all clunked up and eye boogers and just get a Q-tip and go inside your nose, go
yes,
around because that's important. Before I forget, because I want to do head to toe, and I mentioned the hair smelling, but shampooing your hair. Now, everyone is
yes.
different on shampooing their hair. There,
But yeah.
my friends who are not African American can need to shampoo their hair every day, right?
Mm-hmm.
African Americans don't need to, depending on the curliness of your hair, right? The texture, because 4C hair, so in hair that is straight, typically with my Caucasian friend, that I used to be a hairstylist, so I know this to be a thing. I was a cosmetologist for several years. The oil in their hair just goes straight down the strand.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if your hair is coily, it takes a while longer. So you don't have to shampoo your hair as often, but it does need to be shampooed. We should not
Right,
be going months without shampooing. Like start, and every week can be a lot for African American hair,
right,
particularly 4C hair, right? Like it could
right,
be a whole
right,
situation. And I
right.
think I'm probably, as I get older, I think my hair texture is changing. I might be more like 3C or 2B. I don't know, whatever. Uh, but shampooing our hair at least every 2 weeks. And in the meantime, because hair captures
That,
everything in the elements. When you walk
yes,
out, your hair is gathering it. So
yes.
making sure that you use a bonnet or a scarf on your hair at night so that your hair is not directly on your pillow, because
Hello.
that
Yeah.
creates acne issues. Just by
Right.
your hair being dirty and you're flipping your hair from side to side, a lot
Yes.
of the
Yes.
acne issues that our young girls are having are because
Mm-hmm.
they don't sleep with scarves
Right. And
and
they
their
use
hair
a
has
lot of
captured.
products typically, right? And then our hair, I
Yes.
mean, even with males hair too, create oils. And
Hmm.
it's like so that goes down to
It's
like
from
our
the
bonnet,
scalp.
our scarves, our things that hold our edges down. They need to be washed weekly. I mean, I know we
Right.
have multiple, okay, but we have certain ones
Yes.
that's like we know they understand the assignment, but they need to be cleaned, consistently as well. And
And
granted, life
every load,
happens.
like if you're doing a load, just throw it in
Right,
there because
throw it
that
in
makes
there.
it easier.
Exactly. And then life happens and you may forget, but it's like if you're noticing as oh, and I always say mother, but as a parent, you know your kid, you know what I mean? You know their
Right.
typical skin condition or skin texture or whatever. And if you're noticing more um, bumps or acne than usual, then it's like, okay, has the sheets been washed? Has the bedding been washed?
Right.
Has their hair scarves or do rags or whatever you want to call it been washed? Has the combs and brushes been washed? Okay, that's
Right.
a part because everything's going on your body. It's touching your skin and comes in contact, and it does make a difference.
And cleaning
Um,
those combs and brushes often, right? It really is a thing. When we brush our hair, when we finish brushing our hair in the morning, like just go ahead and clean it out right
take
then.
it
If it
out.
becomes a
Yeah,
habit, then you don't have to worry about like, oh my goodness, is my brush causing this? Is you know what I mean? Like you could just get it
yeah,
out the way.
right.
And it takes 30 seconds. When you're doing it every day, you just brushing it out. Put it
Yeah,
in the toilet. Well, I put it in the toilet. I don't do it in the trash because I just don't like balls of hair because the wind blow and now it's all in the house. But so I put it in the toilet, flush, and then I can rinse it, tap it out on the sink, and then leave it there to air dry. And then I'm good to go for the next day. Or when I come back in later that night and I need to pin my hair up or whatever, it's
mm-hmm.
ready to go. But if we're not taking the time to do that, that becomes a problem. Young boys, when they're not getting their hair cut, they're sweating every day. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? So we
yeah,
have to make sure our children are getting into the shower and getting a head to toe cleanse. Okay,
yeah.
that's a big deal. Um, I've seen a lot of stuff in people's ears. Even as a stylist, when we would,
Right.
shampoo people's hair,
Yes,
we would,
yes.
make it a point to
Behind,
to
yeah,
like
get
just
them
dry behind their
ear.
ears. But a lot of times we in there like scrubbing, like, let me get this dirt out because it's
Right,
stuff caked behind
right,
your ears. Like
right.
we got to think about that. You have to get that, this part of the ear
Yeah,
up here. Like it needs
right.
to be cleaned. So
Yes.
if you're listening to audio and you're not like listening to the visual, not just the ear canal, but up above it, right? Making sure that
Girl,
even
the
this
whole
piece,
ear. What do you mean?
right,
Like,
that meet the hair, the part up here at the top
right,
that
yeah,
goes
the
into your
whole
hairline.
entire ear. There should be
Oh,
soap.
gotcha.
Soap should have been applied and bubble and suds up. There should be soap, and if there's Q-tips, and I'm trying to hold my face as we talking.
Don't
But
because
with that,
I
it's
think that
like,
other people
yes,
having the same facial expressions because you're thinking like, oh, this is known stuff, but it's not.
yes, right. And then it's like what I did with my daughter when she was, I want to say 8 or 9, because I say that's kind of like when the shift kind of starts
Hmm.
happening. And I told her, I said, go get a Q-tip. Because granted, I've showed her, okay, I've showed her, look at mommy's here. Look what mommy's doing. You
Right.
have to do that as well every other day. Because everybody, with the weather in their skin, and if you do it daily, you're gonna bust something. But anyways, at least 3 times a week, because children. Anyways, get at that age. And I had noticed she hadn't been cleaning her ears
Hmm.
thoroughly. And I told her, go get a Q-tip. And then, or I'll say clean your. She said, okay, but as a parent, that was too quick to do it right.
Right. So sometimes we
I
got to be like, come here, bring it
Right,
here.
right. And I had her do it, get the Q-tip, and I had her do it. And when she pulled out what she pulled out, I said, exactly. So just imagine you're playing, you're talking to your friends, your hair is back. They're not on, they see your whole face. They see your neck,
Right. You're
they
standing
see
in
your ear,
line.
and I'm saying at your age, more than likely your friend is not telling you got something in your ear.
Right.
I mean, some
And
adults
we
will do
know
that,
that because even
but
as adults, like
I
when the
will
last
say
time
some
you
adults
told a
don't even do
friend,
that.
like, hey, you need to
Right.
cut the hair in your ear. It's getting long, bruh.
Right.
Like, when's the
So
last time you said that? We
Right.
don't
So
tell each
have a
other.
check in with your kids on their hygiene. Look
Yes.
at the back of their necks. And if it's not the color of the skin of their face, then we need to start a regimen,
Right. Now, so
Um,
for some, it's an actual skin condition, but not for
yeah,
everybody. So we got to
I
be
agree.
mindful.
But if it's something that they were not born with, you know what I mean? Like they were a baby, and then because you bathed them, they're
But
all the
I'm just
skin.
saying because I know adults who have that, and it
Yes,
looks
there
like it's
is a
dirt,
condition
but it's
though.
not.
Right.
But at the same time, no,
It
like
still can be clean.
right, it can still be clean. Now, I
Yeah.
don't want us to skip over this breath situation. Now,
Okay, no,
listen,
no,
hang
no.
on.
Because we kind of just went this way. We went to the hairline to the ears. But yes,
Okay,
so
okay, sorry.
no, it's
Now we right here.
okay. But get your
Dear
eye moving.
adults
Okay.
and children alike, I
Yes.
want y'all to get. Do I have them up here? I usually keep some up here. I want y'all to get some dental floss. And I want you to, I like the little picks because they're very
Uh-huh.
convenient, but get
Yeah,
some
they are.
dental floss and floss and make sure you get those teeth way in the back.
And back. Yeah,
And then
that's
I
what I
want you
love.
to smell it.
Yeah, that's
Yep. That's what you've been hitting folks with all day. While you walking around, like, listen, if you smell that floss and you jump back, folks have not told you all day or a week or a month or a
yeah.
year that your breath stinks.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
twice a day minimum,
Needs
like,
to happen.
but the real recommendation is after every meal. A meal
Right,
can
right,
be also that little snack of chips that you had, right?
right, right.
Brushing your teeth for 2 minutes
About to there is a
each
time.
time you brush,
Yes.
flossing to get that
Right.
stuff in between your teeth,
Mhm.
rinsing with mouthwash, all of that. These are
But a
not
lot of
just
people don't
recommendations.
scrape their tongues. I used to use a
Listen,
brush, but I found that the brush doesn't get it
if
the
you
way the
watching,
teeth can get
if
it.
you're actually watching, you see I'm holding a tongue scraper right now
Yes,
because I
right.
grabbed it
Correct. You
because I
got
was
the
like,
right one.
people need to
The metal
understand,
one. But yes, you need to scrape your tongue. There is so much. When I tell you,
especially
if
in the
you don't
morning.
scrape your tongue and you do it for the first time, you're going to gross yourself out because that stuff that's
Absolutely.
back there that you cannot see. But the way the structure of the scraper, it can get it. Whoo,
Yes.
girl.
So we got to make sure that we're doing those things because again, when we go to work, parents, we work with people who don't have good hygiene. Maybe not everybody, but every office got somebody that's not as up on the hygiene as everybody else. And our youth are in a very competitive market because when we were, I'm 45. So when we were, meeting in this market, it going, as teenagers, we weren't competing with elders. You understand what I'm saying? Now,
Right,
like,
right.
all the people that, would normally take, in and out, these jobs are for the teenagers. No, you got people who are
No,
really struggling
right,
that got real bills.
right,
And so they are
right.
in those jobs now as well. So it's even more competitive. And if
Mm-hmm.
hygiene is an issue, it's going to knock you out. It's going
Right.
literally and figuratively. It's going to keep you out of the opportunities. That is something you have to be mindful of. So let's move on down.
Yes.
Right, we got the
So,
neck. That does include this décolleté area.
right.
We want to make sure that we are clean. Listen, because and I think that a lot of times, as teenagers, they're like, I got it, but they're also, at that point where they're getting boyfriends and girlfriends. Some of them are
Yeah.
becoming, or I'm not gonna say some, a lot of them are becoming sexually active. Who want to
Right.
cuddle with you and your armpits are funky? You have to scrub them armpits. You got to scrub them. You got to make sure that you are getting that. And then some people are very sensitive to deodorants.
Yeah.
Is this now, Danielle? You got to explain this one, but before I show it, because I grabbed it, right? So if you have a sensitivity to deodorant, you can use baking soda, like make a paste,
Yeah.
a
The
very
back in the
thin
day.
paste.
Right, right, right.
Right. That college hack, right? Like you can even cut a
Right.
potato and just wipe
Oh,
the
I
little
didn't
part
know
of the
that.
potato. Yeah, because it'll keep you from it ain't gonna smell like French fries, I promise. But anything is better than must. You understand what I'm saying? If you didn't shave that morning, you can also use a lemon under your armpit. So that's
Right.
the
Yes,
thing.
I knew the
So
lemon.
keeping that kind of stuff in mind. But okay, so Danielle, because you purchased this, we had a
So
conversation. You
yes,
purchased this, so
anyone that also knows me, I'm one for all the natural stuff, but
and this
also
comes
I'm
from
realistic.
Sprouts.
Right. It's
Sprouts,
from
feel
Sprouts.
free
It's
to
about
give us a sponsorship, okay?
exactly. But I'm
Trying to
all
put it up.
about natural. There's so many chemicals in products, and even more so that's killing us. You know what I mean?
Yes.
However, everybody's chemical, like body chemistry, is different. So I'm not saying everybody go get a natural thing. When natural don't work for you, you will go with what works. Okay. So, but with that deodorant, it's a mineral. It's a
Yes.
mineralized
Mineral salt
deodorant.
deodorant stone.
Exactly. And so it's from Sprouts, but they have three. Here I am, I'm advertising, but they have three options. They have a spray. I prefer the spray.
Hmm.
They have a roll on. Remember the back in the day roll on? They
Uh-huh.
have that. My daughter uses that. And then they have the
The
say the
stone.
cube girl, thank you. The stone, and it's like kind of like whatever your preference is. And it does keep the odor at bay. Let me say this though. If your eating habits are not just balanced, I'm not saying you need to eat vegetables all day, every day. No, you
Right.
don't have a balanced diet, or I would just food intake. I don't want to say the D word, but diet,
Right.
food intake. Do not expect any natural product to work a miracle. Because what comes out of our body as far as smell is what we're putting in
Putting
our body.
in. Yes.
So if you know that you be going in on the chili cheese fries and the ribs, and that's a frequent occurrence, that product, no natural product is for you. You're gonna be
Right.
upset. You're gonna be wasting your money. And your water intake is at a minimum. Just know that no, don't listen to therapist Danielle because that don't apply to me, and that's fine because I don't want you going around because that natural. The thing is, it'll flip on you. You
It
don't try some
will.
natural products, and you gonna question yourself like, what in the hell? But it's like, but you have to understand the assignment. You just can't go and buy these products, natural products, and think that they're going to work a miracle when you're not
Absolutely.
doing your part.
Right. But
But
nothing
you have
takes the
to,
place of good old soap and water. So you have
exactly,
to be mindful
exactly.
of that.
Yes, and there
Yeah.
and there are many other natural products, but at the same time, everybody's body chemistry is different. Everybody's makeup is different. I've
Yes.
used several over the years, and when you hit that menopause, girl, it's different. So, I got a
Yes.
three-layer situation. It's all natural. I found it. I got to share it with you. I was like, oh, thank you, Jesus. But because I like smelling like nothing. So, and I do my part, okay. So when I
Your
move, it
contribution.
shouldn't be no whiffs or anything, okay? So and that kind of leads to the next thing is that when you go when you sit down and stand up or walk by someone, people shouldn't, if you smell your child, you need to have a talk with them. And y'all know
Yes.
what I'm talking about, but if you don't, the cracks, the nooks, the crannies.
Yes. So I'm gonna say this because we're talking about that. And this is something that I think a lot of people forget. Cleaning your bras on a
Oh
regular
yes,
basis. Now,
yes.
if you, first of all, the parts of your bra that are under your breast, that's positioned under there. I'll have to say this, moms, particularly if you or your daughter are, I'm gonna say a D cup or above,
Yeah,
you
I can only
have
speak
to
for the itty
clean.
bitty.
Say that
I can't.
again.
I can only speak for the itty bitty. So you go ahead. I don't want that problem, girl. When I was
Okay.
pregnant, I said, "Oh, the hype." No, they lie. They just sweat.
Okay.
Anyways,
So
go ahead.
you have to clean under there. You have to lift up your breast.
Mhm.
You have to clean with soap and water underneath both of them and in your cleavage. And then if you have the stone, or if you have a deodorant, or if you have some baking soda, or if you have some
Or
baby
another
powder,
thing,
or some Gold Bond
no
antifungal.
baby powder. I'm
Okay.
sorry, no
Okay.
baby powder because you always
Well,
sound
I'm
like old
just,
lady. But I'm just
listen,
saying.
better old lady
But you know what
than the
else
whiff.
will help
Like
if you have
ladies
witch
leave behind
hazel.
a scent, not an odor.
I understand because that baby powder is on the cusp. But it'll turn on you real quick. But if you have witch hazel as well, witch hazel, you kind of can get it from anywhere.
Yes.
Witch hazel is something else that can be used also on the underarms as well, as
Yes.
far as
but
this
but just
odor.
being mindful of those breasts because it carries odors that we're not
Yeah, that.
necessarily thinking about. um
Mm-hmm.
Also that skin sheds, you know what I'm saying, and if in the summertime, that's a different beast. And so usually, especially during the summer, or if I know I'm going to go work out or something, I put a little
Right.
bit of like a Gold Bond, just for the chafing, right? Because as
Mm-hmm.
you're
Mm-hmm.
jogging or whatever, like, let's just be honest, the bigger the
It's
breast, the bigger the
scrubbing.
problems.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
so being mindful of that, grab, put a little baking soda paste under there, or, I sometimes if I'm in a rush and I don't have time to make the paste, I'll swipe my deodorant stick. Now I get it. Like there's been a lot of links to cancer and different things with deodorant. So be mindful, right?
Right.
And of the product
Right.
that you're using. But there are lots of all natural products that you can use in
Exactly.
that
There are.
situation
There are.
and not have, major issues. So ladies, as our breasts are constantly, it's a fold, just like your armpits is a fold, like treat it
Yeah.
like that. Treat it
Yeah.
like that. Okay, go
Right.
ahead.
Oh, what was the
Okay,
other
we
one?
moving
So
down. Can we go to the
yeah,
belly button? Oh, no.
Oh yes.
Because
If you
the
have
amount of
never,
belly buttons I see that are
man,
caked with dirt, but you
if
got on
you
a
have
crop
not
top.
stuck your finger in your belly button and smelled it, and then immediately passed the hell out because it don't smell like flowers in there. If the only time your belly button been touched was since you was a baby, you need to clean it. It has to
A
be clean.
Q-tip or a cotton ball, if you got an innie versus an outie, like I know that there's different techniques, but either way, you
Right.
got
But
to
no,
clean it.
that has to be
Use that
clean just
soap and
like that.
water and then go back behind it with some alcohol, some witch hazel,
Yeah,
whatever, but you gotta clean it. You
it
gotta, and then,
has to
so
be
let me
clean.
say this because we have a lot of parents with teenagers, and I'm just like, I'm gonna rephrase that. I'm gonna just say,
Okay.
because I don't,
We're gonna go with
because,
your rephrase. Okay, go
okay,
ahead.
thank you, because it's just for the best.
Yes.
As people, if you are sexually active and you
Hmm.
want somebody kissing your stomach, they should not have a mouthful of nothing. That's it. Clean it out.
Clean it. And granted, and also, and this may have been something that the parents haven't been told or taught. You know
Very
what I mean?
true.
So
Very
it's like
true.
go and clean it, and have your own experience with that so you can teach your child like, hey, it's stinking there. I don't care how fresh you think it is. It's not fresh, is not an option in there. It needs to be cleaned frequently.
Absolutely.
Be gentle though, because the mess is sensitive up in there. but but it does need to be clean. It does need to be clean. But I want to
Absolutely.
go back to when you mentioned in regards to the bras. Um, the they can be very pungent, okay? Meaning they stank. And so if you have, some people can doesn't have within their budget to have multiple options as far as, underwear.
Hmm.
You can rinse, like I said, you can rinse it out. You can get the soap and you can
Yes.
clean it with your hands underneath the arm. You know the part that goes underneath, you can't see it, but the
Hmm.
part that's underneath your arms, you can clean that out. And even if you have two, you can rotate. Like
Yes.
if you look at and I had this talk with my daughter recently because granted, we all have our own like favorite or preference as far as
Right.
our undergarment.
Underclothing. Uh-huh.
And granted, you know how I am, and she got 15 plus bras. Why does this bra look brown? The bra ain't brown.
You're not finna put my niece under the bus like
No,
this.
we have to have a talk. And what this bra does, there's other bras of that same cut and style. Like, no, honey. So there's that
Yes.
part as a parent of, even though they're getting older, you're still actively going behind them. Not every single time,
Right.
but just checking in on things in regards to
Yes.
their undergarments, in regards to their hygiene. I mean, you could tell them, do this, do that. And I'm like, okay, and just hope that you don't come and look, but check in with your children. To make sure that they're doing the things that they're supposed to do. Because at the end of the day, they're still kids,
Yes.
and so we
And
can't.
it's our responsibility to make
Right,
sure that they're
right,
keeping up with that. And as a parent, because Kayla's 10, right? So
right.
I can say, well, she has to, do certain things herself, but I still need to go behind her with washing
But she
clothes, like,
right, she's still a
because we
child.
wash clothes
Exactly.
together. Now I have found, right, because she's athletic, washing clothes is not just washing clothes. I had to get that 9 elements, I think it's called.
Let's say it's a process.
Right,
When
because
you deal with
there,
sports, yeah.
yeah. So there's an older, and then there's also odors that come with puberty, right?
Right.
So you can't just go, oh
Yes.
well, we're gonna keep washing it. Sometimes you gotta switch stuff up. So
Yeah.
because of that, we need to make sure that with washing clothes that we're being consistent, that they don't
Yeah.
have a hampers, because hygiene is not just for the body. Your room, your car, all of that is
Yeah.
hygiene. So if the
Yeah.
hamper's in the room and the hamper got a week's worth of funky,
And the
sweaty
room just smell like
basketball,
just corn chips.
sports stuff,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
you, as a parent, I have to go, wait. Let me
Mhm.
stay on top of that with her, right?
Right. Right.
And that makes a difference. That makes a huge difference.
Yes.
Um, you know, and we'll get into cleaning the rooms up and things like that in a second, but um there are odors that come from boys and girls, right,
Hmm.
in your genital area.
Right.
So I'm gonna go
Well
ahead and say
praised.
this for the
Yes. Well,
fellas. Um,
yes.
sir, and moms have to have this conversation with their sons as well. But
They
I
do.
like it when dads have those conversations with dads and moms have the conversations with the moms. And you can, when it has to get this detail. But I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna just say it, fellas. Please teach your sons to lift up their scrotum sac and wash under there too. To wash in the crevices where the genital and the upper thigh area meet. All of that has to be cleaned.
Yes.
All of
And
that.
dried. And dried.
and
Mhm.
and dry. And when it comes to the anus,
Clean it.
they got to, first of all, teaching them how to properly wipe is a big thing, but then teaching them how to properly wash.
Wash. Yeah.
There there are, I saw in Costco, like, how we have baby wipes that we use, but
That's
there
for
are
men.
man wipes, like they're a
There
little
are.
bit bigger. I think
Yeah.
they're thicker. I don't know. I still don't think you can flush them. I'm not, I didn't, I just
These
saw it and
days,
I
everybody
moved
say
on.
don't flush because they want the liability with clogging pipes. But
Right. But well, my wipes actually say do not flush. So
yeah,
that's
a lot
that's
of
why
them do.
a lot of them do, but using the wipes in
Yeah.
between, because that's that day to day, what I'm saying? Sometimes you already showered and you don't want to get back in. Me
Right.
personally, I try to get it all done before I take my shower. But you
But I was
gotta,
going to say, like, when you said the keyword was in between, it's not a replacement of, and when you're
there
dealing
we
with
go.
kids, sometimes depending on their convenience, they're going to do what the easiest route. So
Absolutely.
if you look up and you just bought a packet of wipes and 2 days later they're gone, it's a problem. You need to check in. So,
Hmm.
but there are other that kind of goes into, because like there should be a hygiene in the morning, there should be a hygiene at night, but there is time in between that day where things happen. Weather plays a part.
Yes.
Physical activity. Kids, some schools actually still have PE, and there's sports and
Yes.
dance and all these things. So, where you're not just jumping in the shower there, but you don't want to
Right.
smell tart.
Right. And
In
because of
between.
that, like, because Kayla has PE at third period. And so
Yeah.
I bought, the facial wipes. Because after you've been sweating, you got to get all that
Right.
off of you.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
she has the body wipes, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a
Mm-hmm.
towel, there's soap, but she can't, like, she's not comfortable taking a shower. So then take these
Right.
wipes and you
Right.
hit all the major places,
Right.
and then you get the other places, right? But you hit
Mm-hmm.
the major places just for time's
Right.
sake, because they are
Exactly.
like rushing into the next period. But you got to
Right.
get that done. You don't
You
want to be
have
funky
to.
all day. That's an
Right.
issue. And so that being said, moms, sit down with your daughters
Yeah.
and teach them how to properly cleanse themselves. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I'm standing there, I'm giving instructions, she's doing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But also understanding like what it looks like. Encourage your daughters to sit with a mirror, not their phone, and
Right.
regular
I was
mirror,
just about to say, girl, wait a minute. Yes, correct. Not
a
their phone.
regular mirror, and
Yes.
and sit
Yes.
there and see what it is, because they need to see the folds and different things that we have to clean. And like, okay, so these lips close in, so that means we got to open them
Separate.
and make
Right.
sure we're clean. But
Exactly.
you don't want to hurt yourself. Like, you have
Right.
to guide them because they don't
Yes. They
know.
don't know.
Wiping from front
Exactly.
to back is still something that you have to teach.
Teach.
You
Yes.
have to teach that. You got to explain the
Yes.
bacteria and the infections you can get if you're not wiping properly. You have to teach them how
Right.
to wipe their behinds and why they need to do it after every poop. Like, these are things you got to teach your daughters.
Yes. And if you don't know, because from work, from having friends that say, if you my friend, your hygiene needs to be to on par. I'm just saying. Sounds silly, but I
Nothing
am
like they
very
just looking
serious.
over and
Okay.
Danielle over there about to throw up. Like,
I am so serious. But there is that we are aware that there are some people who may be listening to this like, oh, really? And it's
yeah,
no shade at all. This is
absolutely.
is a teaching opportunity or a learning opportunity as well, which is totally fine. And if it's something that you want to want to learn more about, YouTube University, okay, you will find hygiene. You will find in regards to how to properly cleanse yourself. upkeep
Yes.
of yourself. And granted, don't, this is my disclaimer, I'm not saying to go and do everything you find. No, have some discretion in what's appropriate, what's not appropriate, and
Right.
what you're allergic to and not allergic to. That's on you, what you choose to do in the end. However, that there are parts, separations, and getting in the folds and all that does need to be done. Our girls are getting older, they're becoming young ladies. So I was gonna say, please do not give them summer's eve, but anyways, but with that, there's other options besides summer eves. I'm just saying, no disrespect, but like there's other options that are not as harmful as summer's eve these days. But if girl, realistically, if you feel that your child needs to use a version of summer's eve, she needs to go to the doctor. I'm just saying.
Facts.
Um, but with
For
that
various
though,
reasons, not just hygiene, but it
yeah,
could be
exactly,
sexual activity happening that you're unaware of,
exactly,
that is
exactly.
causing, because let's be honest, like one of the signs that of someone cheating on you is your pH balance being off, right?
Mm.
Like it's like that's one of those, God-given miracles, like, hey, something ain't right,
Right, something I about to say
my
something ain't right,
pH balance
girl.
has
Something ain't
changed.
right.
What you doing? You know what I'm saying? So sometimes those are the conversations we need to be having, because our teenagers they are having sex, and we have
They
to teach
are.
them this. Like,
They are.
listen, there are parts of a male, and like I think that we get so caught up in the taboo of it all that we don't actually educate our kids, and some of us have never been educated. So we have to be mindful.
Yes.
Things are changing. You need to figure out why,
Right. Right.
because
I
the
think
body
that
likes
be
consistency.
another topic that we
It
can
is.
kind of go
It
into
is.
detail on how to have that talk. But with that being said, there are products that are appropriate for your daughter, even if she's 12, 13, 14, to use. There's a lot of clean, meaning like organic products that can be used as well. Like when they're on their cycle, there should be a slightly different, or additional step, if you will, in
Yes.
regards to the cleanliness of them. And in their body odors, I don't want to say body odor, but they may smell. It sounds horrible, but
Yeah.
they may smell.
Absolutely.
And
So
and
showers
teaching
have to
them,
be picked up and more frequent
yeah,
when you're on your
and
cycle. Yeah.
exactly, and teaching them how to address that. Don't tell them you smell or go get in the shower again. They're like, no, it's please wash your tone first of all. But it's like helping them figure out what those products that they can use or what that regimen is.
Yes.
And then same for boys. When you down the ball stank, okay. I can only imagine from
Then you
7,
say,
maybe
just
five
say,
and a
don't
half
tell them that
to
they
girl
stink.
20. Girl,
Then you just say that.
I'm sorry. It made me think of when a guy had got up and it was like, what is that smell? His whole underneath his belt was a situation. And as an adult now, it's like, well, maybe no one taught him. So those, and even though Coach Kiana had mentioned, for the dads or the male role models to speak to the boys, and the
Sometimes
mothers
they're
speak
not
to the daughters.
available, and it
I
has to
also
fall on the
feel,
mom.
right, but I also feel as they get older, the dads need to talk to the daughters, and the moms need to talk to the sons as well,
Okay.
because there is a different experience with that. But within what we've shared, hopefully, it's been helpful and also shed some light on something that I really feel does not get talked about
Wait, because
often.
it sounds like you wrapping it up, and we still got to address the feet.
Oh, girl. Okay, go ahead. Go
Aside
ahead. You
from
can spray.
behind
You
the
can spray
knees,
that
like
stuff
hit
onto
that
me too. But
behind the
go
knee
ahead.
situation. Like get
Go
behind
ahead.
your knees, please, because that's another fold, right? That people don't talk
It
about.
is.
But the feet,
Yes.
please wash them.
Yeah.
Please, like get a nail kit and go under those toenails
The
and get all that
toenails.
stuff out.
It's stuff that
Don't
come out
just be
too.
using what's it called? The little, don't just grab a bobby pin and clean up and then wipe it on the
Oh
carpet,
my!
okay? Like
I
get
didn't
the
know
nail
people
kit, get
did
some
that.
tissue or a
Oh,
paper
I learned something
towel,
every day. Okay.
clean
I wasn't ready for that one. Okay, go ahead.
clean under
Wow.
your toes, get in between your toes, right? Clean under the toenails,
Yeah.
get in between your toes. if you are smelling something, use baking soda absorbs odors, right? You can put them,
It does.
aside from, if you need to sprinkle a little bit for young girls on their cycles, sprinkle a little bit on your pad. That's a great way to help absorb the odor. But putting it in your shoes is another great way. You don't have to wait until you actually have a foot
In the
fungus
shower.
to take care of your
Yeah.
feet. You can spray a little powder, get a little, this stick actually says eliminates body
Oh,
odor
that's
and
about to say
foot
you can use
odor.
it. No, for real, I'm about to say you can use that too. Yeah, you can use that on your feet because it's a natural deodorant. It's an
Absolutely.
odor neutralizer. Actually, we doesn't even say deodorant. We just call it deodorant. It's a natural. Girl, I forgot what I said it was.
A natural deodorant.
Thank
It's a
you.
natural odor eliminator, is what it
Yeah,
is.
neutralizer. There you go. So,
So
but
if we can just be mindful on the hygiene side, we
yes,
did a lot of laughing, but the seriousness of it
right.
is adults and youth alike are missing opportunities because of the bad hygiene. People
Yes.
are not as open because we know it's a sensitive subject. So everyone doesn't want to say like, "Hey,
Talk
you
about it. Yeah, but
funky."
we'll talk about it.
But if we can just, we got to take it out the group chat eventually and share it. So that's what we're doing. We are talking about what's going down in the group chat. So if I may ask for the group chat, uh, please let's wash our behinds and
Yes.
other areas regularly.
Yes. Yeah.
I personally think that twice a day showering is excellent. If you can throw a third one in there because you don't went to the workout, or you know what I'm saying,
Right.
do
Right.
that. Do
That's
that at
ideal.
least
That's
twice a
ideal.
day
But you know
because
what?
we
There's also
sweat at
that
night.
aspect. But also there's that aspect where people don't necessarily have that
I
option.
get it,
You
but
know,
if you do,
I
even
know. But
as
if you
women,
do,
like, I can shower in the morning and then, at the end of the day, because I've been out, I need to shower at night. When I wake up in the morning, because I'm in that menopause, perimenopausal, right?
girl,
So the sweat that goes on, I can't just get up and go about my day. I
ooh,
got to shower again,
yes,
right? Because
that's a whole
the
nother. It's
heat
not the real
that
appearance
happens,
conversation.
I don't know what goes on in the sleep, but it's probably the same thing in the day that causes hot flashes. But at the end of the day, I got to shower again, right? Because
Yeah,
I don't like I can't have that sweat on me. And I don't
yeah,
it's a situation. Like when I say sweat, I sweat more at night than I do when I actually go to the gym. Like it's a real situation. So which causes us to have like pillow, like the covering on your
yeah,
mattress and all that. Like these are
yeah.
extra
All
expensive,
wash
but
all that.
they are necessary. So if
They
we
need
can
to make
just
mattresses you can put in the washing machine. I digress. Anyways, go
that's
ahead.
what the mattress pad is for. I
I know
don't want
all of it needs to be thrown in there. That's where I
listen.
know
Well,
it's clean.
they gonna have to do that at the laundromat because I don't want to wash it that big. You know how many clothes? Listen, I
I mean,
think
you get the
my
double.
regular washer
I'm
should
gonna
be
start talking
smaller.
about
Because
something else.
why is there so many clothes in here? Anyway,
But
we
yes,
love y'all. Thank you so much. Shoot us an email at therealonparenting@gmail.com. Let us know how you're feeling about our show. Thank you so much for tuning in, for supporting, and keep joining us right here on
yes.
KCCR Brownstone Cityscape.